People who grew up poor but came into money later in life. What is some advice you'd give to people who are currently struggling with money? Don't upgrade your lifestyle whenever you start making more money. Like for example, say you live in a one-bedroom apartment, it's nothing great but it does what you need. You get a promotion at work and are now making 5K more. Stay in that apartment. It's really tempting to look at a nicer one because you can afford it now, but I promise you, you'll wish you hadn't down the road. And keep that mentality with everything. Spending money just to spend money is a bad habit and one most people have without even knowing it. I'm earning much more now than a couple of years ago, and one practice I've adopted is careful thinking and analysis before making purchases. A friend shared a helpful technique with me: if I think I need something, I wait a week. If after that time I still feel it's necessary, then it's likely a genuine need, and I proceed with the purchase. I'm not sure if this technique has a specific name, but I find it quite useful. It's made me realize that I often only truly need small things, and sometimes I rush due to hype or excitement. Anyone else doing this? Don't know where I read it, but somewhere along the line I read the following: what do poor people buy first? Luxury goods. What do rich people buy first? Assets. The point being, when you have little, you need to husband your resources the most. You may look hot at the disco in that $100 shirt, but the same $100 could buy you several shares of a dividend-paying stock that could pay you $100 over and over again over several decades. Get a roomie. Sharing living costs is one of the best ways to save money when you have little. I grew up poor, worked shit jobs most of my life, but the 6 years I lived in a co-op sharing food, utility, and rent costs was how I started to accumulate wealth. First, stay away from the get-rich schemes such as crypto and other pump and dump scams such as NFTs and gold/silver. This latter one is a bit tricky because gold and silver are sometimes reasonable investments, but that's among sophisticated investors who buy under specific market conditions at precious metal spot prices. If you aren't already worth 8 or 9 figures, then forget about gold and silver. And especially avoid commemorative coins. Second, liquidity is an important principle. There's an old piece of advice that it's a good idea to keep 3 to 6 months' worth of money in a form you can cash out immediately, such as a credit union savings account. In case you lose your job, you may need that money, and you don't want to be stuck taking a loss by unloading an asset in a distressed sale or taking a penalty on early withdrawal. Third, for most people, opening a Roth IRA is a smart move. It's a tax-deferred retirement savings account that allows a limited withdrawal without penalty to buy a home. Bear in mind that a Roth IRA is an account type, not a specific investment. You can transfer a Roth IRA from one type of investment to another without penalty. Assuming you have enough in liquid savings and you're interested in a Roth IRA but uncertain which type to get, consider a no-load index fund. Historically, index funds, which are designed to track the rise and fall of a particular stock market, do better over the long run than most of the funds which attempt to beat the market. Getting a no-load fund is important because load, a percentage fee that goes to the fund manager, really eats into profits over the long run. Fund managers love load and will attempt to sell naive investors on funds that have load. Bear in mind your age has something to do with investment strategy. The younger you are, the more risk is reasonable. If you're in your 20s and if you have 3 to 6 months of income in a cash account, then putting nearly everything beyond that into an index fund makes sense because you have time to recover if there's a major market downturn. As investors get into their 30s and 40s, the standard advice is to shift some of that into a bond fund and start moving into certificates of deposit. Bonds and CDs have lower returns but more security. Different types of bonds have different rates, and the rates correspond with risk. The thing you don't want to do is have all of your money in stocks late in life and then lose half your money in a stock market downturn while you're 5 years from retirement. Every time the market crashes, naive investors in their late 50s take a pounding and wail about it. Also think about your life goals. If you grew up poor and you now have a middle-class income, then typical goals would be owning a home, raising kids, and paying for their education, and having enough to retire comfortably. The trap for many people who make this income transition is to get luxuries instead. And if you're single, look for a life partner who has good sense with money. Make a list. Put everything on it. Take your bank statement and go through every single transaction in the last 3 months. Don't forget to add all the big one-time payments in January somehow though. Group them into categories, some items fit into multiple. All income streams. Staying alive, rent, food, power, internet, phone, etc. Everything car, gas, insurance, repairs, tires, etc. Insurances. Debt payoffs, loans, mortgage, credit card. Splurge food, eat out, Starbucks, delivery. Shopping, strictly necessary stuff. Shopping, everything else. Monthly reoccurring payments, Netflix, Amazon, Spotify, gym, etc. Everything else. Figure out where your money is going wrongly. Educated guess. Staying alive and car are the biggest. Staying alive and car aren't the problem. Splurge food, shopping, monthly reoccurring is what kills you. If everything else is a significant amount, greater than 5 to 10%, make sure you sort better. Figure out how to no longer be killed. I'm not going to bullshit you with, skip the $6 Starbucks coffee. If you're in this thread, you're not spending $6 on coffee. Do not get into credit card debt. Nothing else you do matters if you have 5 digits of credit card debt at 19%. You must avoid credit card debt like the fucking plague. Do not put it on the credit card and worry about it later. When later comes, you're going to be fucked in ways you won't be able to fix. Take a $10 or $20 bill from each paycheck and put it in a drawer. That money doesn't exist. You don't have it. But when the check engine light comes on, you will have it. Buy in bulk. If you eat a lot of rice, spend the money to buy the 10-pound bag rather than buying a 2-pound bag every week. You literally spend less money to get the same amount. Be familiar with the grocery options in your area, and know which one has the best deals on which types of food. It's worth the extra time to go to 3 different stores if you can save $20 on your grocery bill. Preventive maintenance is worth it. Brush your teeth. Get your oil changed. Sometimes these things will cost you a little money, but they will save you from having to spend a lot of money later, and in some cases, it'll save you from living in excruciating pain.